hearing this?
Anybody hear that?
How can we possibly have the slightest idea what to expect?
Well, we're back.
Hold on to your butts.
Welcome to the Jurassic Park Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Jost, and we're here to discuss all things Jurassic, including the movies, TV shows, music, toys, and more. In episode 421, we're going to dive into the recent box office for Jurassic World Rebirth. It just finished its second weekend, and we'll find out where it's sitting right now. After that, we're going to dive into a pretty great segment because I asked for a lot of voicemails from the listeners out there, and you all delivered, incredibly. There's so many voicemails, so many thoughts and feelings, the loves, the dislikes, everything in between. And I think everybody was really cool about saying the things that they loved, but also, revealing their issues with the movie. It's a lot of in between. And I think it's going to be really good to hear everybody's perspective because that's what this show's about, right? It's about hearing other people out there, other than me. You don't need to hear my perspective all the time. That's what I started this show for, was to give the voice to the people and to let everybody out there state their own feelings. And there are some that I will be stating in a written form if anybody emailed things in. But we've got voicemails, we've got MP3s, we've got written stuff. We've got a lot to dive into today. I'm very, very excited about this episode. It's going to be a great one. And if you're listening to this and you thought, well, I missed my chance to record my thoughts and feelings. No, you didn't. It's okay. You can submit them whenever you want. Give our voicemail line a call, 732-825-7763. You can leave a message there. It's about 3 minutes long. Or you can pick up your phone, hit the record button, and email me that little voice memo to JurassicParkPod@gmail.com. And of course, you can write something there as well if you want to, but I will include any thoughts and feelings, anything. If you want to talk about chaos theory or video games or music, whatever you want to talk about, send me your thoughts and feelings and we'll put them in upcoming episodes. So don't be afraid at any point to let me know what you're up to and what you're feeling in regards to Jurassic. And of course, while you're listening to this episode, you can hit us up over on Blue Sky to continue the conversation. And as always, please check out our live streams over on YouTube discussing all of the latest Jurassic news from around the world. Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. EST. They're pretty wild. I think I did a Mr. DNA voice for way too long in the most recent episode or live stream. So go check out that live stream. Also, please be sure to subscribe to my newsletter for all things Jurassic, movies, TV shows, my other podcasts and thoughts and appearances. Find the link to the newsletter on JurassicParkPodcast.com/newsletter. But it is time, so let's go ahead and dive into a little bit of Jurassic news from around the world.
18 minutes and your company catches up on 10 years of research.
Access rate program. Access new security.
These pictures were taken in hospital in Costa Rica 48 hours ago.
I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but look.
Boy, I hate being right all the time.
But today, I guarantee it.
So, I know it's a little surprising, but we did not put out an episode last week, but I wanted to go ahead and report a little bit on last week's box office, the first weekend for Jurassic World Rebirth, and of course the second weekend, this weekend, here against Superman. And Rebirth, according to Deadline from last week, Rebirth grossed $318.3 million globally, making it the biggest worldwide opening of the year so far for a studio film. That's pretty good. That's pretty good there. Look, I think that's awesome. And it also was the second best start for the franchise behind 2015's Jurassic World. That's huge. That's pretty great. Very good sign there right away for Jurassic. And breaking it down a little bit more, that was $147.3 million in North America over the first 5 days. And again, it was a long weekend due to July 4th weekend. And comparatively, over the actual 3-day weekend, the traditional weekend, it earned $91.5 million. So that's a difference there. But, we'll take the long weekend. It's all good. Of course, Jurassic World opened up initially to $208 million in its 3-day weekend. Fallen Kingdom was $148 and Dominion was $145. So with the added 2 days, we're kind of in that same territory at $147. So we're definitely still going downhill a little bit, but it's still in a good spot. I think we're still okay for the time being. Now, bringing it to this past weekend against Superman. Superman globally brought in $217 million, 95 million overseas, 122 million domestically in its 3-day weekend there. So it did better than Jurassic World Rebirth in its traditional 3-day weekend. Jurassic World Rebirth came in at second place this past weekend with 68 million from the overseas in its sophomore outing. And here domestically, it looks like Jurassic World Rebirth brought in 40 million. So that's down 57% from the previous weekend, which is not a great sign, jumping down that much. But you know what? Hey, all those tally up to get us to 529 million globally. Not a bad number there. Not a bad number. Now, these are my assumptions here, but I think with the great word of mouth that Superman is getting, that's going to have a pretty good box office push the second weekend. And then, of course, Fantastic Four coming out. So it's not looking great for a strong second half here for Jurassic World Rebirth. I don't know that it's going to get to that 1 billion mark. I've kind of been settling around like 700 million in my mind for the past like year and a half or however long that we've been going for this marketing push for this movie. I feel like that's probably a safe bet, but we'll see. We'll see where we end up here at the end of the run. But for now, if you want some more serious information, head to the link in our show notes.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
I'm not a computer nerd. I prefer to be called a hacker.
Aren't you supposed to be a genius or something?
I can't get Jurassic Park back online without Dennis Nedry.
Incorporating all the latest technologies.
We shouldn't be here. And there's 5 dinosaurs.
How many Sarahs do you think are on this island?
As I mentioned in the intro to the show today, we received a ton of voicemails, MP3s, and written messages that I wanted to go ahead and compile them all into a massive reaction episode for the community, so I could let each and every one of you explain from the bottom of your heart what Jurassic World Rebirth meant to you. Was it something you loved? Was it something you liked or disliked? Whatever the case may be, I wanted you to have an outlet to talk about the movie for a little bit and get your words out there and heard by other people from around the community, so we can start the conversation, talk about those things that we loved, and start the journey of the after, now that we've all seen Jurassic World Rebirth. So I'm very excited to get this kicked off today, and I'm going to actually do so by reading an email here, and then we'll jump into a bunch of voicemails. I've got some more stuff to read, so stay tuned for that too, but I'm excited to jump into them all here today. But I'm going to kick it off here with this first one from Wyatt, and it says, "It was amazing. I thought that having another paleontologist since the first film was the best move they played. I thought it was the best film since the original, better than Dominion. I still have some questions, though. What were the scientists still doing there when the park opened? Was Dr. Wu involved in the project? We know he has an obsession with hybrids. It was by far the best movie I've seen this summer. I can't wait for the second film of the third trilogy. What started as one movie ended with a 3-decade project. Until next time, life found a way. Thanks, Wyatt."
Hi, Jurassic Park Podcast. This is Johnny. I saw Jurassic World Rebirth a couple days ago, and I wanted to send in my thoughts. I saw it opening night, 7:45 in my local theater, and going into it, I was kind of just expecting it to be just like a fun Jurassic Park movie, kind of like Jurassic Park 3, but man, did it exceed my expectations. I loved this movie. This was such a... Oh my gosh, I have so much to say, so I have to go quick, but... First of all, shot on film. I loved that. It gave it such a beautiful just vibe, and oh my gosh. Gareth Edwards did a great job with that, and the characters were great. Zora is effortlessly funny. She's the perfect action hero. She's such a go-getter. Scarlett was clearly putting her all into this performance. She was great. Duncan Kincaid he had so much depth, and he was clearly the moral compass of the movie, kept our characters on track. And his sacrifice, I totally thought they Eddie Card'd him. I was like, oh, he's dead. Oh, no, I like that guy. And then he survives and was like, oh, all right. Which, I don't know, I don't really mind that I like his character, so I'm happy he survived. But Jonathan Bailey did a fantastic job with his performance. That scene where he's meeting the Titanosaurus was his performance was so moving. I mean, that scene alone is just, that had me in tears, but he was great. And he's such a nerd. Like, I totally related to him throughout the whole movie. It's like, this is just me as a character. And it's just great to have paleontologists back in the franchise. The family, they were great. I liked the dad. I think Teresa could have had a little bit more to do. I felt like she was kind of overshadowed by the other characters, but her plot with wanting to kill Martin Krebs because he let her fall. Martin Krebs was also good. He was just a perfect Jurassic Park villain. He was likable, but also kind of slimy towards the end, and he got his comeuppance, which is nice. But the boyfriend was hilarious. That scene where he's peeing and the raptors and Mutodons show up, and then he's like, "What is happening behind me?" And then he continues peeing. That was so great. He had some of the funniest lines in the movie. It might not work for everyone, but it totally worked for me. He was hilarious. Dinosaurs were great. Awesome to see the river raft scene finally on the big screen. T-Rex looked awesome. I feel like she was a little bit bigger this time, but I don't know. And she had these big spikes on her chin. I thought that was maybe not spikes, but she had big scales on her chin or something. I don't know. She had a great design. She looked like the bull from, or I don't know if it's a he or she, but she looked like the bull from The Lost World. D-Rex, I love that they saved it for the end and the beginning. It's so great. And they kept it mostly hidden for, you don't get a good look at it until it has the helicopter in its mouth, which I thought was great. I feel like I wish I had gotten more answers as to why they created it. I'm assuming it's just they were making hybrids, and then it went wrong. The island had its own visual style. That's exactly what I was hoping for. It doesn't look like Nublar. It doesn't look like Sorna. It's its own thing. I love that. The only thing I'm a little bit confused about is why is it on the Atlantic and not the Pacific? That's a little bit confusing, but logistically, why would you have an island on the other side of a continent if you're one company? I guess it was just to keep it hidden if this is where all the messed up dinosaurs go. I would love to see a return to this island. I feel like there's a lot that they could do. The D-Rex survived, so that they could do something with that in the future. The score was awesome. Alexandre Desplat did a great job. Sailing Away is probably my favorite track, or Dino Lovers. Those are the two I've been listening to the most. But yeah, I listened to it before I watched the movie, which maybe wasn't the best call on my part, but I don't know. I thought it was, I don't know. I thought it was fine. I really liked the soundtrack. They did a really nice job. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say. Oh, Quetzalcoatlus scene. That was great. That was literally just an Indiana Jones sequence. And the Quetzalcoatlus eating, I think his name is Leclerc. That was brutal. That reminded me of that death in Jurassic World with, what's her name? I forget. But the lady who dies with the Pteranodon and the Mosasaurus. I'm trying to remember her name. Anyway, but that was brutal. The whole Jaws with dinosaurs sequence was great. I thought was never bored with it. I thought it was awesome. And seeing the Apatosaurus, the poor Apatosaurus dying, that was so sad. It was kind of like seeing an old friend, a little reference to the Jurassic World trilogy. Obviously there are a couple of hiccups in the canon. Why is there a Biosyn Parasaurolophus on an InGen island? That was a little bit confusing, but if you're willing to look past them like I did, you'll be fine. I loved this movie. It was great. I have to wrap this up real quick, but I gave it a 9 out of 10 on Letterboxd. It's currently sitting at number 2 in my ranking, which is probably a little bit generous, but that's how I'm feeling right now. I'm going to see it 2 more times in the next couple days. I'm very excited. But yeah, I loved this movie. It was just had the Jurassic Park vibes going. I loved it. So I hope everyone else enjoyed. I don't know how the Jurassic Park fan community is reacting, but I'm excited to see how everyone else thought, or what everyone else thought about the movie. So yeah, stay safe, stay Jurassic, guys. See you later.
Hello, my name is Haddon. I am 8 years old and I live in Idaho.
And what do you think about Jurassic World Rebirth?
And I love Jurassic World Rebirth. My favorite part was the part with Autosaurus Rex.
Yeah, what was your favorite thing about the Distortus?
A beluga whale head.
He has a beluga whale head?
That he has a beluga whale head.
Yeah, and all of his arms?
Yes.
How he's just so huge and creepy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's just cool.
Any other favorite parts?
It's the status text.
Just all the parts of the Distortus?
Yeah.
Super cool. Yeah. We thought the movie was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're so excited to hear what everyone else thought too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Hey there, Muzammil here, giving my thoughts on Jurassic World Rebirth. I cannot believe that Jurassic Park 7 is out finally. It's so surreal. This franchise really is enduring and continuing and thriving. It's awesome to see. I had a great time with the film, but granted there were lore inconsistencies throughout. I try not to go too deeply into the critics' rabbit hole, but I did see some people saying that the first 20 minutes was rough. I didn't feel that so. Yes, there were some cheesy bits, especially with the Snickers bar. I never liked Snickers, and I still don't like them. Regardless of that, I kind of treat that sequence as a bit of a butterfly effect. Butterfly effect meaning chaos theory, and that such a tiny thing of like neglecting protocol could cause a disastrous change. That's what we've seen throughout the franchise, and it's an interesting way of putting it. The entire cast really nails it. Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey, Mahershala Ali, they lead with conviction. Rupert Friend, he was also quite good in it. He was a bit of a predictable antagonist in a way because of his own motives, but he brings something a bit new to it, and also kind of brings in elements of book Lewis Dodson from the Lost World novel. The family side of things, they were all quite good as well. I thought there was going to be a bit of a weak link with especially the younger adults, but they all did amazingly. And I'm impressed with like how much of like the aquatic sequences that they were able to pull through with that. Now down to our animals and everything. I was pleasantly surprised that we were going to have a dinosaur in New York in the Dumbo sequence. I thought, they were just going to get right into this mission, and with how they were saying about like dinosaurs dying off and everything, and moving towards the equator. I was pleasantly surprised that they weren't so drastically moving away from that. So I felt like that eased my concerns, going into this. Besides that, all the other species that we did see, the Mosasaurus, the Spinosaurus, all those sequences were really done well. And, you got the elements of Jaws with that. It was really fun. The T-Rex river raft sequence, excellent. The tension and everything. Having seen a whole lot of footage in the marketing already, there wasn't a whole lot of marketing, but they did give away a lot somehow, yet again. But I still enjoyed it. The Quetzalcoatl sequence, that was really good. And you kind of knew that some characters were going to be victims of some of these dinosaurs as they get closer to the end of their mission. But, the movie kind of surprised me in that way, how they did certain sequences. Besides that, the third act, it was a bit clunky because they didn't really bring the mutants in all that much until the very end. The Mutodons, they brought in more. That sequence was quite shocking, how they did that with the raptors. But then after that, with the D-Rex, no mention of it until the very end. And I'm like, is the D-Rex actively moving around? Is it only located within that perimeter? I don't really know. But, I think it was also an interesting choice, and I like that choice that they didn't have a final battle. It was more a goal of escape. And, the movie ended with a sense of hope, which was nice, and a nice adventure movie. As far as where things go from here, I know from the Collider Q&A that I was at to see this movie, Gareth Edwards and Frank Marshall, they're not saying no, that there won't be more installments, but we'll have to see. And Dolores is okay. Besides that, I'm interested in seeing where they want to take this franchise next. Hopefully, with Chaos Theory and everything, and when that ends, maybe we can, merge the two storylines somehow. Who knows? But I'm looking forward to what's next.
Yeah, so when it comes to Jurassic World Rebirth, it definitely needed to be what it was. It's something where, honestly, I know it's divisive, but I don't know what people were expecting at this point. You got Jurassic World, which was pretty decent, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which was, not bad, and Dominion kind of destroyed the potential it had. So Rebirth wanted to give what the fans wanted, which was an island where dinosaurs go after people. And I know Jurassic Park is more than that, obviously, but you can't expect, the godfather of, dinosaur films to come back, because this was a revival, and this film did what it needed to do, salvage what was left of the franchise. I thought it did its job pretty good, in which it was like a Jurassic Park 3 film. Not every film needs to be a dark, meaningful, exploration. I mean, I would prefer that, but, Rebirth set up to give us what Dominion failed to give us, which were dinosaurs in their habitat, dinosaurs being dinosaurs, being seen as animals, not as monsters. The mutant aspect was not the best part, but it was a new idea that was being presented forward, and if they learn from this film to the next film, if they take their time for the future installments and really flesh it out better, I think you have something good to go off of here. I enjoyed the dinosaurs. I enjoyed the spectacle. The film was beautiful. Does it have its issues? Yes, the island doesn't feel as alive, and you don't have those scenes like in Jurassic Park 3 where you have the Spinosaurus or the Velociraptors reoccurring. And that's where it kind of felt a little deep. For me, I rated a 7. And that's because I felt back. I felt good during the film. Again, I knew what I was going into. People wanted something better than Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. They got something better. This film is a lot better than what came before. But again, I'm not going to lie and sit here and act like it was the biggest masterpiece. It has its flaws, but it's definitely the best piece going forward, because I think the way it ended with its possibilities being there, it didn't want to promise anything, because we've seen what promises have been with Fallen Kingdom and then Dominion. It left off, hey, here's a return to form, here's something to bring you guys back, but promise something better is on the way. And I think as long as Gareth Edwards stays on, as long as he has more control of the script, as long as they take their time and they don't try to rush it.
Here's another email from Ava. It says, "Hi, my name is Ava. I enjoyed the movie. Personally, it's in my top 3. Just because I was on the edge of my seat the whole movie. So much action, and especially the T-Rex sleeping scene. I was loving it. The thing I can't wrap my head around is the new island with the new lab. It was not explained well and did not give us proper answers on how it actually works with the other movies. It's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All of the movies line up in one way or another. It just kind of feels like this one is a standalone movie. I've only watched it one time, so I need to go again for sure. I hope we get some sort of correlation with maybe the Chaos Theory cartoon to learn more. Overall, it was a good movie. I give it a 9 out of 10.
Hi, Brad. This is Macy. I am a longtime listener. First time leaving a voicemail. I'm really excited about it, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on Jurassic World Rebirth. I just got out of the theater. I bought 2 of the buckets, and I am just so excited for the new movie. I thought it was good. I didn't necessarily love it. I mean, in the ranking of it, I think I'll have to see it again just because I am going to be taking my nephew soon. But I thought the dinosaurs looked great. I thought that the directing was cool. Gareth Edwards did a great job. I think that the storyline was okay. I really wish that there was more detail about what is kind of the underlying disease that was going on. I wish that there was a little bit more of that dialogue and plot line. I did think that the plot line was a little corny between Jonathan Bailey's character and Scarlett Johansson's character, Zora and Henry Loomis. I did think that was a little corny, but overall I didn't hate it. I do like it a little bit more than The Lost World or JP3, so I think it was a pretty decent movie. Otherwise, I love the podcast. Keep up the great work, and thanks for listening.
All right, I just want to say that Jurassic World is my favorite show ever, my favorite movie and favorite show ever to exist. And I love dinosaurs. And I'm so excited for the movie that'll come out on July 2nd. And Beth, do you want to say something? Wow. And the CGI, it is good. The animating for the dinosaurs, and it looks like really real. Yeah, I love the movie. Okay. Anyways, I just wanted to say, love your movies. And bye. Can't wait for the next movie to come out. Favorite show. Anyways. Bye. See you later.
Hey guys. So left a comment yesterday about going to see Rebirth. And so I'm giving you a call because you guys asked me to give you a shout. I've been a Jurassic Park fan since I was 5 years old. So much so to the point where me and my wife went to Oahu and I proposed to her up in the observatory of the Indominus Rex paddock set. So I'm pretty dedicated. Anyway, I've been wanting to see this film since I first heard it was coming out. Was kind of hesitant about ScarJo. Still kind of hesitant about ScarJo. Anyway, so I decided I wasn't gonna watch any of the trailers for this movie at all. I want to be completely surprised because I don't want to be let down by seeing the entire movie and then spending $20 to go to the theater and being disappointed based on all the trailers that I've seen. So I went in yesterday morning, first showing of the day, 9 o'clock. It was like me and 20 other people, and I have to say that while it was slightly enjoyable, there were a lot of things that they did to this movie and this franchise that I really wish they'd leave alone. I really wish they quit with the mutant dinosaurs. Yes, the Indominus was great. Yes, the Indoraptor, fantastic, great villain. But, we gotta stop. This movie made it seem like they couldn't think of another way to make a problem on an island full of dinosaurs for the 7th time in a row, so they're just, grabbing whatever they can to make these kinds of movies. The T-Rex looks like the Rancor from the Return of the Jedi. Let's be honest. And the Mutodon or whatever those flying raptors are, they look like the dragon things from Kong Island. This movie isn't supposed to be about, genetic mutations in the sense that they're just continuously happening because we haven't learned our lessons over and over and over again. It needs to stop. It's killing these franchises. You could have put raptors in place of the Mutodon. If you would have just left raptors, the movie would have been great. That would have been fantastic. The D-Rex, they didn't use it a ton. It was still there, but it was just kind of we need something bigger than a T-Rex again. And I don't know, man. The acting sucks. I can't take ScarJo seriously in any, serious roles anymore because she's pretty much the Black Widow in this movie. It's they took scenes from other movies and threw it all together and recreated it with dinosaurs. The dinosaur scenes were great. The T-Rex, the river scene, great.
I really enjoyed the new movie. I think the dinosaurs were a lot better handled than the previous Jurassic World movies. The river raft scene, and I think the one scene that's the best in the film is that first raptor scene with just the plain velociraptors where they hunt the boyfriend and they stop when he kind of starts to look at them. I think the dinosaur behavior is really good. And for me personally, I put it in number 3, just under Jurassic Park. and Jurassic Park: The Lost World. I think the movie also is getting a bit too much hate online from the community and fans and stuff. To me, it's just a dumb, fun action movie, but 8 out of 10.
Hey guys, first of all, love y'all's podcasts. I listen to them as much as I possibly can. Y'all put out something about Rebirth and how we thought about it. I thought that Jurassic World Rebirth was absolutely amazing. I loved how they put most of it in the water. That was always good. The T-Rex scene in the river was probably one of my favorite scenes. Sucks that the Velociraptors didn't get much time, but, you know, it's fine. The Megalodon definitely, you know, outshone them, and that was alright. Spinosaurus, not really too happy with the design, but it's alright. Still love Spino either way. And then the Distortus Rex. How do you get a monstrosity like that? I mean, it's genuinely crazy the things that people can come up with nowadays in those movies. But that was pretty cool. And then, you know, the Mosasaur, I was happy that it looked almost the same. The people's deaths in that movie were really predictable, in my opinion. Everybody who died, you could just automatically tell right away. That was one thing that kind of sucked, is there was no mystery behind who was going to die in the movie. Like, you could just immediately tell who's going to be going and who's going to be staying. Other than that, those were my criticisms. I absolutely loved the filming. The scenes were absolutely beautiful. The dinosaur choices were amazing. That movie, all in all, was just amazing to me. And I've been watching these movies ever since I was a little kid, and I just love them so much. And I'm so happy with how Rebirth turned out. Everybody said it was an awful movie. Everybody said it was bad. Critics didn't like it, but in my opinion, that movie was for people who are fans of the franchise, who really have just loved the franchise for so long. And, you know, I think it was one of my top 3 movies for Jurassic World. Well, thank you guys for listening. Have a good day, y'all.
The movie was peak cinema.
Hi there. So my name is Chase, and I gotta say, I saw Jurassic World Rebirth last night, and while there were a lot of things I was super happy about, like, you know, I was not expecting like how it ended. Like, honestly, it was something different. It was a really big breath of fresh air. I will say the rap scene with the T-Rex was just amazing. Now, it does help that I stayed away from a lot of the ads that try to give a lot of footage, because for some reason Universal likes to do that. But I just was like, you know, my jaw was dropping on the floor. Just so much suspense and just everything about it was just fantastic. Like, easily my favorite scene in the entire film. The D-Rex was an interesting character. He certainly grew on me from, you know, when we first saw it in the trailer to now. It's like, okay, so this is a very powerful animal, and I was, you know, this was interesting. I love that they included the Spinosaurus sounds from JP3 into, you know, like this film. Like, you know, it was nice to see like that. Okay, so they didn't keep the original design, which, I mean, I was kind of 50-50 on that. But at least they had a nice little callback to the third film, so that was nice. And just, of course, I cry at the Titanosaurus scene because it was so beautiful. And of course, like any, you know, big sauropods, like, you know, especially like when we first saw the Brachiosaur in the first movie, you know, like, of course, like, you know, that just warms my heart every time. So, if I'm going to give Jurassic World Rebirth a score, you know, out of 10, I would have to say it's probably a 7.5 out of 10. I mean, sure, it's not the highest, but I mean, no film is ever going to come close to the original, and that's okay. But I just absolutely love this film for the plot because it makes so much sense. And of course, like the raft scene. Oh. Sorry, that was my dog. Of course, the raft scene is amazing. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10. If it was not for the raft scene, it would probably be lower. But yeah, so that's my review. Thanks for listening.
Hey, I'm a big fan of the Jurassic Park podcast. My name is Ario, calling you from Phoenix, Arizona. I just wanted to just give you a quick run through. I also did see an early screening, and I love the movie. I would call it the second best film from the Jurassic World series. So after Jurassic World, I would call this the next best one. My big issue with it, and let me know, and you can maybe discuss it in your podcast, is what's up with them only showing the raptors like, 3 seconds when that guy is peeing, and the Mutandons just came and pretty much ate one of the raptors. I feel like that's the only screen time we saw of them, and it was just a few seconds, and it was all dark. So that's one of the big issues why I felt like this movie could have been a little bit better, giving the OG dinosaurs a little bit more screen time. But let me know what you think. Love you guys. Have a good one.
Here's an email from Alex. It says, right out of the gate, I think Rebirth is the best of the Jurassic World films, but it doesn't reach the heights of the original Jurassic Park trilogy. Aesthetically, it feels like a weird blend of both The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, but they decided to shoehorn in the recent Jurassic World lore to make it more on brand with the direction in which they are taking this franchise. Newer labs, hybrid dinosaurs, advanced technology, and a brand new island that hasn't previously been explored. It was a half-baked attempt to bridge the gap from one trilogy to another. Having said that, this film excels because the dinosaurs themselves are portrayed in their animalistic nature. They aren't sparkly-eyed cartoon characters like we saw with the recent World trilogy. Dinosaurs are scary again. The river raft sequence with the T-Rex is the best scene in the film, and one of the standout moments in the franchise. This is the best Rex design we've seen since The Lost World, in my personal opinion. I do wish that we didn't have so much of this scene revealed in the marketing, but that's the norm these days with studios like Universal. The plot is paper thin and requires a leap of faith from the audience to make a spine of this film make sense. The humor is hit or miss, and the characters overall were a mixed bag. It doesn't add to anything to the overall story, which is my biggest disappointment, and there are heavily marketed features such as the D-Rex that don't have enough time to shine. Overall, this film is a cinematic thrill ride with some fantastic set pieces, and it deserves to be seen on the big screen. From this moment forward, if this franchise is to make future films, we need to go backwards in time, back to the original parks, back to InGen's recklessness, and delve into the mysteries of Nublar and Sorna. We cannot go further into the future because it's getting less plausible. Thank you for listening, and keep up the great work. Kind regards, Alex.
Hello, I am leaving my review upon Jurassic World Rebirth. It was a very okay film. Could have used a lot more time in pre-production, in my opinion, before they released it. There's parts of it that felt off. The CGI was great. The story and writing and acting, though, was what killed me. And also, how does a Snicker wrapper blow out a big industrial door engine? How does the writers, for example, not think everybody in that group doesn't have a gun when you're going to an island infested with dinosaurs? I was expecting more from having a great director and a great writer, but it turned out to be a disappointment, is what it was. And in response to that, I am very disappointed with that being the fourth Jurassic World film. I would have been fine if they left it off with Dominion, because that was a decent film. I see where they were going with the film, though, like making that be the test site for Jurassic World and that type of stuff, but they just didn't do everything the right way they should have. It just felt off. And there was too much going on, especially having the hybrid dinosaur that looks like a part xenomorph. I love the horror aspect, but hate how they implicated everything else. A xenomorph dinosaur, if I wanted to watch a monster movie, I would watch Godzilla and King Kong. That is my opinion.
I actually really enjoyed Rebirth. I took my girlfriend to go see it, and we had a great time. We dressed up as Alan and Ellie. I loved seeing Spinosaurus and just, in general, Jurassic stuff again. Just like the vibrancy of the movie and feeling closer like we were back to a regular Jurassic film. Definitely had a couple of gripes with it. Again, with all the hybrids and stuff, especially the Mutodons. The Distortus Rex I could get, but the Mutodons, I felt like it was too much. And like the fact that we saw 2 seconds of a silhouette of a raptor, that's something that's been in every other Jurassic movie. It felt like there was something that was missing. And I felt the same way about Dominion with, seeing Blue at the start and end of it and then barely Beta. But, and then also the product placement with the M&Ms and the Snickers and Doritos, and it was just, it was a little moments like that just kind of threw me off. But for the most part, I loved it. I loved the raft scene so much, and the Mosasaurus boat scene with the Spinosaurus, that whole sequence, the chase was amazing. But yeah, I would say I'd give it an 8 out of 10, but that also might just be the new feeling that hasn't worn off yet.
Hey, so I watched the film, and overall I thought it was pretty good. I would say it ranks up there with Jurassic World, which came out, actually surprisingly 10 years ago. But I don't think it was as good as Jurassic Park, Lost World, and all that, but overall it was a good film.
Hi, this is Kat. I'm a longtime follower. Love your podcast. And wanted to call in about the new movie. I have seen all the movies when they came out in the theater opening weekend. Of course, the original Jurassic Park was amazing. My favorite, however, is Jurassic World 2015. Love that movie. That movie is basically my life. I'm Claire. My boyfriend's Owen. We work at a zoo, and I'm dressed up for donors all the time. I don't know the name, the birth dates of my nephews. Anyway, that movie is me. So I love that movie. I'll love that movie forever. I can't see anything ever topping that movie. So this new one, it falls somewhere in the middle. I mean, I think, 2 and 3, this one, they're all kind of there. They stand alone. I really loved the music. I mean, the music almost had me in tears. It's like all the throwbacks to the previous films that you could recognize in the music. I also loved it when it started out. I mean, total classic when it zooms in on objects in the mirror appear closer than they are. So the movie's going to be good. I mean, it's going to have these little nods to the previous movies. So I just love that. The visuals are beautiful. The water sequences are amazing. I love the characters. I think the acting is good. It took me a while to get into the characters, but I just loved it. I knew nothing about this movie when I walked in. I did not watch any of the previews. I didn't study it. I didn't know anything about it, and I came out absolutely loving it. So I think people who don't know anything are going to love it. I mean, it's a great popcorn summer movie, right? You go in, you have a good time. I just really, really loved it. Of course, I love the little Dolores dinosaur, so cute. I didn't care too much for the D-Rex, I guess it's called. The hybrids, not so sure about that. Timeline, the 17 years, what year is it now? That's kind of confusing, but again, I didn't want to get into too much of the details. I did miss the raptors, of course, Blue, I don't know if they'd have Blue, but I missed Blue. But I wasn't that concerned with it because it was a great movie. I just thought it was a lot of fun. I highly recommend people just go in, don't get too much into the detail, and you just have a good time. And somehow it fits in the universe. Somehow it's in the Jurassic universe. And I think it's going to stand up to time, and you're going to want to go back and watch it just like 3. I mean, I love to go back and watch 3 every now and then. Cracks me up. It's, they all have their own charm. Each one of them has their own charm. And again, 2015 Jurassic World is the epitome, and of course the original. But this one's good. I liked it. I thought it was a great time. And now I'm going to listen more to your podcast and hear it picked apart because I'm sure there's a lot of mistakes in there. But anyway, thanks again for all you do. I really appreciate it. Love the show.
Hey, Jurassic Park Podcast. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys had a great Jurassic June. And I hope you guys continue to enjoy Jurassic World Rebirth. This is Ryan calling in from Michigan. I just got out of my second viewing for this movie, and here are my general thoughts. I'll try to keep them spoiler-free just in case anybody who's listening to this hasn't seen the movie. I might talk about mild things here and there. I have been a fan of the Jurassic franchise for about 10 years. I'm 21 years old, and I'm on the young side, I know. And I remember watching the first Jurassic World when I was 11. That day is a bit of a core memory of mine, and Jurassic World, by all intents and purposes, got me into this franchise. It introduced me to the other movies. Now, granted, at this day and age, with how much I've watched and what I know, I would say that the original Jurassic Park is my favorite film of all time. It's a masterpiece, it's almost perfect, and while the sequels following that original film have yet to top it, I think there's a lot with these movies that deserves more recognition and more praise than what many on the internet mostly have kind of decided to shoo away. Not that they're perfect or anything, but there's a lot of good with this franchise and a lot that I enjoy with each movie, even my lesser favorites. Now, when it comes to Jurassic World Rebirth, this was one of my most anticipated movies of the entire year. I believe it was in my top 5. And when I first watched this movie, I quite liked it. I quite enjoyed it, but I wanted to give it a second watch to really kind of finalize my stances. I just got out of this movie for a second time. I saw it with a crowd of people who had so much fun with it. They were like oohing and ahhing and gasping whenever something intense would happen, whenever like a threatening new dinosaur would appear and our characters were forced to escape, basically. And I think that added to this experience because I actually ended up liking Rebirth a little bit more than my first time. I would still give it my B+ grade, which I did initially give it, and I'd put it at number 4 among my rankings, but that's only because I've kind of compared it to the other movies that mean a lot to me, and Rebirth doesn't quite reach that level. Mostly because it's very stripped down. It's a very back-to-basics type of Jurassic Park movie. We have a group of characters going to an island, they need to get something, and then they need to get out. Now, comparatively speaking, I would say that the previous World films tried new things. They took the franchise in new directions, and for that, I have a lot of respect for those movies. This one is a very conventional Jurassic film. But, that being said, Gareth Edwards, the director, hones in on what made at least the original work so well, and a little bit of The Lost World, and really adds his own spin to it. The director, he directed Godzilla and Rogue One and The Creator, movies that utilize visual effects to create an incredible sense of scale, and Edwards does that brilliantly with this movie. The dinosaurs feel big, they feel intimidating, but they also feel animalistic, which I appreciated a lot. And when it comes to the human characters, I liked them. I thought they worked just fine for this survival story. They're either, capable, they're competent, and some of them are even quite likable. I really connected with Dr. Loomis and Xavier. I thought those characters really held down the movie for me, and I was never bored watching them traverse Isle St. Hubert. Couple things here and there that I wasn't super big on. I still think the first act is a little sluggish to get through, and it does drag, but once we're on the boat and the character dynamics really get to shine, the movie gets good. And when that Mosasaurus, Spinosaurus seafaring sequence hits, we're off to the races. So I would put this at number 4 below Dominion, Jurassic World, and Jurassic Park. All in all, I had a blast with Rebirth, and I hope you guys do as well. Thanks for taking in this call. Love you guys. Love what you do. Stay Jurassic.
This email comes from Dave. It says, off the gate, 8 out of 10. I feel it's a definite upgrade from Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. While I still enjoy those 2 entries, I still feel like they're a downgrade from Jurassic World. While I feel the script could have been stronger, I really enjoyed the simple story it told. I wish they fleshed out the new island a bit more and provided more background to the mutants, though. The timeline is a bit of a mess, too. Are they talking about Jurassic World or Jurassic Park when they say this new island was R&D for the original park? A bit of an elaboration on that would have been appreciated. I feel like the 3 core characters in the lot, in Zora, Duncan, and Henry, Scarlett, Mahershala, and Jonathan, did such a great job bringing them to life. I also really enjoyed Ruben's character too. Being a dad myself, he's someone to look up to. Tough but loving, strong but sensitive. He's not too manly to cry when it's appropriate. Manuel Garcia Rolfo was terrific. As a matter of fact, the whole family was awesome. David Iacono's Xavier Dobbs was a bit obnoxious and a little hard to warm up to at first, but I feel like he had a fairly decent character arc by the end of the movie. I've seen it twice now, and while I enjoyed it the first time, I've really enjoyed it on the second go-around. I can't wait to see it again and buy it on physical media when it's released. I'm super excited to see how this particular story develops as the franchise continues. Thanks for the chance to share my thoughts. From Dave.
Hi Brad, Roland here from the Road to Rebirth podcast. I've now seen the film 3 times and can say that I love it. I heard that Gareth wanted to kind of make a film that felt like a lost film from the 90s, and I couldn't describe it better myself. The wonder and awe of the first Jurassic is still intact, as are the thrills. I absolutely love the T-Rex sequence, the music, the Ray Harryhausen motif that when the Rex is drinking from the water, how grumpy the Rex is when it can't get the kids and it kind of shakes itself off. They're all fabulous, and it really plays well with an audience. Now, there are a few bits that don't work for me. The script at the start of the film, when they're getting everybody together, is a little clunky with exposition, and the text doesn't help either. I'm not a big fan of text in any film. And even though the dates don't line up, all of it's redundant because the characters talk about it in conversation in pretty much the next scene. So it feels a bit like a studio play to have all that text at the start, to be honest. Anyway, I'm so glad that I really enjoyed this film on my first viewing and still love it after my third one. I mean, I have spent 6 months dedicating a podcast to it, and now the question begins as to what comes next. Thanks again, Brad. Bye.
Hi, Brad. Dean here. I'm going to give my thoughts on Rebirth now that I've seen the movie. So yeah, first of all, it was a very cool experience in the cinema. Really enjoyed it. Very cool, fun, and adventurous movie. It's very cool. I really felt like I was on the island. The visuals was very good. Gareth Edwards did a very good job, I think, on this one. So yeah, I think my favourite scenes, or my favourite bits from the movie, was definitely this Mosasaurus chase scene where they're trying to get the DNA from that one. That was a very cool scene. The music with that, very great. And then the Spinosauruses come in. Just that whole scene is just so nice. Like, we don't have that much water scenes in the Jurassic franchise, and this one's just one of my favourites now. Very good. Because I am a fan of Spinosaurus, so that was a big highlight. And the river raft scene was great. The CGI was perfect in that scene. I really liked how the T-Rex behaved. It felt, like this was the Rex's territory. He's sleeping, probably just hunted out and got that Parasaurolophus, ate a little bit of it, now just resting. very cool. Felt like a real prehistoric, area. It's T-Rex kingdom. There's no fences, just there chilling. Very liked that. So yeah, the CGI was great in that scene. I was very excited when I saw the Dilophosaurus, but I wasn't excited when I saw it go back after very quickly. So that was unfortunate, got a very short screen time, but still cool Dilophosaurus design. But yeah, that whole river scene, them floating down the river was intense and great. I loved it. When it was trying to eat through the boat or the raft, trying to, figure out what it is, that was pretty cool. The one bit that was a bit unfortunate was the raptors. I was very excited that the Jurassic Park 3 raptors were returning. They only got like the shortest screen time ever. It was like 10 seconds or so, and then the Mutodons came and ate it up. It's like the Mutodons replaced the raptors. That was unfortunate. Hopefully there's some deleted scenes that we'll see one day with these. So I'm pretty sure there's more raptor scenes that Gareth Edwards made. So hopefully one day we see those revealed. Yeah, the island was pretty cool. I really like this new island. Very green and tropical. The labs were cool too. It looked very biosyn-y, and seeing the geothermal power in those pipes was nice, because we finally get to see one after, it's in the novel and it is in Jurassic Park on Isla Nublar, but we don't really get to see it, so now we finally get to see that, which was cool. But yeah, overall I think this was a very enjoyable Jurassic movie, so yeah. Also, very enjoyed the new Jurassic score, or the music that was throughout this movie. When the original John Williams music came in, that was just so crazy, so amazing. I really loved it. Yeah, thanks for doing this recordings. Yeah, bye.
Hi Brad, hi fellow Jurassic fans, this is Steve speaking. Coming out of the cinema, out of the theatre, my overall thoughts is that the canon and the storytelling was not done very well. There wasn't a lot of storytelling and things explained, and doesn't connect up very well with the canon and the timeline, like when it mentioned 17 years at the beginning, and the different parts afterwards, later on, that it mentioned. I should be going to see it again at some point. So I think on a second watch, I think I shall probably think or see it differently. I did like the seeing the old InGen helicopter from the first film, Jurassic Park. Was really good. I did like that. But we need the facility still being explained. The background of that facility. And then also we need the D-Rex explained as well, like in more details. Like, these things weren't really explained very well. It's kind of like it was just left for your own device to kind of think about, but we need it explained. But overall, in those parts, is the concern and the disappointment. But overall, I meant to use the word overall at this point, sorry, but overall, I did enjoy the film. I did love the different parts when Henry and Zora are in the grass well, they're all there at different parts, but when Henry puts his hand, I always blank on some of the dinosaurs' names. But like the music was amazing. Like what an amazing job that Alexander Desplat. Such a good name, isn't it? That last one. He's done such an amazing job with the score. I shall be having a listen to the score through. Obviously, without like off the film, like listening to the score would be amazing. There's so many nice connections to Jurassic Park in the scores, like in the film. Seeing the river raft scene was so good. Seeing that brought to life was amazing. The Rex was amazing. They did so well with that. Dolores was so cute. That was amazing. Wow. But well, the raptors were certainly taken out quite quick, weren't they? In that one scene. But yeah, let's hope that we get these things explained later on in time. I think I'll give this film about 6 or 7. So yeah, it's really hard trying to explain and put the thoughts and feelings into words in just a short space of time, and but it's hard to really explain like yeah, it's just really hard to put into words, really. But yes, look forward to everyone's thoughts and feelings soon in the upcoming episodes. So stay safe, stay Jurassic, and take care. Bye.
Hey, Brad, this is Evan from Maryland. It's Saturday night, July 5th. I've just seen Jurassic World Rebirth, and I liked it. I thought it was a really good movie. I'm not sure that it was a Jurassic Park movie, but it was a really good movie. You mentioned in your spoiler thoughts that it was, a little bit of Kong Skull Island. I thought it was a lot Kong Skull Island. The set pieces were fantastic. The creature design was great. I did eventually come to like the dynamics between the characters. But, the Jurassic Park bit that I think was missing was that, Jurassic Park is fundamentally a Michael Crichton thing, right? It's a techno thriller. You have, the limits of what humanity is able to do with science bumping up against chaos, bumping up against nature. You have these moments of wonder where nature shows it's absolutely untamable by science, both for good and for ill. And I didn't think we really got that in this film. The Titanosaurs were a great source of wonder, but otherwise it was just kind of a survival monster flick. Again, very entertaining, great design, really, really good work there. But as the foundation for a new trilogy or a new way forward in Jurassic Park, I'm not sure. I do hope that they open it up again and it's not just repeated visits to an island. I hope that they bring in, some of the techno to the techno thriller. But I don't regret going to see it. I'll probably go see it again. And I thought it was a pretty competently made, pretty fun movie. So thanks for being our guide to this and the other movies. And I hope, that your rewatchings continue to bring you joy. And I'll be happy to continue listening to the podcast. Have a great night.
Hey there, this is Yaroslav just calling in to give my brief thoughts on Jurassic World Rebirth, and apologies in advance as I am calling from my car's Bluetooth. But anyway, I just wanted to say the movie, upon a second watch, really worked for me, and it's made me really eager to watch it more. The first viewing kind of didn't sit well with me, as I've seen a lot of other people kind of have mixed reviews, or mixed opinions on it, which is understandable. You know, the general consensus is that the third act is a bit weak or a bit like choppy and predictable. And there's some retcons that are definitely a bit annoying in terms of like some designs and also just not elaborating on previous story points, from the previous films. But that aside, the movie is the most faithful to what the Jurassic Park films were that we, initiated our fan base around, like the Jurassic Park and Lost World, specifically, I think are truly honored in this film. And the more serious tone of this movie and the types of set pieces and even the kills and the music as well, all of it just feels more in line with what I've, always wanted out of a Jurassic Park movie. And I did like the ideas and concepts that Colin was bringing in his movies, but they just never fully felt like Jurassic Park sequels to me. So this is very warm welcome from, for me. Like, I just love the tone of the film and just the handling of a lot of the other stuff. And I just want to say real quick, I do think this is a movie that will grow on people. I think, like Brad said, like once you get past like you temper your expectations and you watch the movie for what it is, it's far more enjoyable, and it is a very solid film. It's a great movie that I think has great rewatch value. So I hope people try to watch this more than once, and everyone I've talked to that has said that they've enjoyed it more and more with each watch, with each viewing. So just keep if you feel inclined to, definitely go check it out again in theater and have a good time, because it's meant to be like a fun blockbuster film. But anyway, I was just also gonna say, I really like the T-Rex that was a scene 30 plus years in making that is it's just met all the expectations. That was a perfect T-Rex sequence. Very happy with that. And I also like the Quetzalcoatlus scene. I love the characters. I love the dialogue between them, and I love the deep cuts with the Michael Crichton novel excerpts and some unused screenplay ideas from previous drafts that kept brought in. Very cool stuff. I think the next movie should try to start doing more like tying of the lore, like weaving like all the stuff that we've seen glimpses of in the past films, and just start, I don't need an answer to everything, but it would be nice to kind of have some weaving together happening, and also some characters that, character act that makes sense, and I like the tone and the manner in which the film was created, like I love the location, filming and all that stuff, like everything about shooting on film, everything's on point. It's just like the story was a little bit too fast and loose with lore, and just it didn't go far enough. See how this movie performs, and hopefully there's a green light for another one. That movie prioritizes the lore more, and I just would love to see the different variations of dinosaurs finally together on screen. Like not all of them, just see the different raptors like kind of together in a believable like sequence or whatever. And same with the T-Rexes or any of these species that we've seen variants of.
Here's an email from Adam. It says, Jurassic World Rebirth is a cacophony of missed opportunities. I am a die-hard Jurassic Park fan, from seeing the first movie over a dozen times in theaters to taking my children to see Dominion with me. However, Universal, for whatever reason, is insistent upon giving us C-rate monster movies, not interesting or intelligent dinosaur movies. Despite some quality actors in the movie, Rebirth feels lifeless and without gravity. The movie starts surprisingly slow and boring, but even once it ramps up into the action, it felt without consequence because the lack of practical effects gives the movie a weightless, harmless overall impact. The only mildly successful emotional connection with the audience is an incredible trophy pet in a backpack gimmick. I was incredibly let down by this movie. I had to apologize to my family for this notable down point of our 4th of July holiday. The Spinosaurus were completely wasted in this movie, and the 3-part premise left the movie feeling like a made-for-streaming episodic television show, not a coherent film. I hope someday Universal wisens up and gives us some smaller, thoughtful, or fun dinosaur movies, not trying to one-up themselves with ever-increasing and ridiculous premises. I would be thrilled to get a rom-com set in Wyoming on a Triceratops ranch, or horror movies set in a swamp with a Dilophosaurus hunting people. We don't need everything stuffed into one movie all at once. Just give me something with heart, charm, and intellect. Based on numerous advertisements before the film, it seems much more thought and care was put into the marketing and merchandising than writing and production on the actual film. I very sincerely hope this doesn't kill the franchise forever, but it's definitely a low point. Sorry to be so long-winded, but I had to get this out of my brain. Adam.
Hey, this is Mike from Pittsburgh. Follow up for the review of Jurassic World Rebirth. After seeing the movie, really enjoyed it, man. Gotta be honest, I think it falls right in there with a 3-way tie for my 3rd favorite movie in the franchise, right up there with JP3 as well as the first Jurassic World. Still leaves Dominion at the bottom with Fallen Kingdom right above it. Those two are for sure the bottom tier for me. However, this is what we wanted. I was left a ton of those scenes with the dinosaurs this time around just absolutely felt like the first time seeing the first movie. Some really, really good action. I know some people would say there wasn't enough. I think it was lean and mean, exactly what it should have been. This was indeed a small story within the Jurassic cinematic universe. That's why I like it. There could be a dozen companies out there trying to do similar things with other dinosaurs. I know they said they're just located on the small islands around the equator, but who knows what else everyone else is doing. So I think this is a great approach. I said before I saw the movie that I don't want to go the route of Dino Riders with war and, more Indoraptor crap, and I think they avoided that. This was more Dino Crisis. This was great. This was, hey, we're stuck on an island again, like JP3. Let's see if we can survive this thing and get off in one piece with a mission in mind. Became a rescue mission in the end, just like JP3. Really good stuff there. I think they could have had a really awesome callback had they brought Billy, I think his name was Billy Brennan. Was that the guy from JP3 who studied under Alan Grant? As they said, this scientist in this movie had done the same, and we could have had another awesome paragliding rescue scene with the Quetzal this time around, just like JP3. So maybe a small missed opportunity, and again, there could have been some animatronics. Otherwise, solid movie, easily 7, 8 out of 10. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Ethan Fernandez from Downey, California. I just watched the movie and I think it's pretty good. Honestly, out of 5 stars, I'd probably give it like 5 out of 5, honestly. It was a pretty good movie. I liked all the action sequences and yeah, thanks. Long-time fan. Bye.
Hi, this is Mike from Glendale. Sorry. I just wanted to say that I thought Jurassic World Rebirth was so much better than Dominion, but I did have issues with the hybrids in this one. I just thought it was really awkward, and I don't think they looked great. But I did appreciate the nods to Michael Crichton. I did appreciate the callback of the T-Rex attacking the raft on the river from the original novel, and the fact that there was no legacy characters except for the name drop at one point. I just thought it worked so much better without bringing back original characters from any of the other films, because that would place more importance on them than on the story. So I just wanted to, say my piece and all that. So great podcast. I just discovered you guys. So keep it up. Keep up the good work. Thanks. Bye.
Hi, my name's Chris. I'm from the UK. I go as the Jurassic Artist over on Instagram. First off, I just want to say I love this film. I thought it was great to have new characters and a new story completely away from everything that we've seen before. And I'm so glad to see that it's made as much money as it has and it's continuing to climb. I love the fact that this film was similar to the Lost World novel. Obviously, there are differences, but things like Martin Krebs being like Dodson is obviously pushed her off the boat. He's obsessed with getting the money from the DNA samples. So yeah, I thought that was a great link. The other new characters, well, you can't go wrong with Henry Loomis. I mean, they've got the go-to guy at the moment in Jonathan Bailey. He did a great job again with Scarlett Johansson. Zora was a great character. But the one that really stood out to me was Mahershala Ali's Duncan. I was surprised how much I actually liked him. The only criticism I've got is that he didn't die. I know that sounds ridiculous, but the way that they set up that he's obviously lost everything. He's clearly lost his child at some point, and by saving Bella at the end, it was the perfect redemption for him. So he should have died. He earned his death, but I am actually glad as a character that he did survive. Saying that, one character who I would like to have seen die on screen was Xavier. I mean, nothing wrong with the acting. He was he was well acted, but he should have died by saving his girlfriend. I just didn't like the fact that he was a jerk, but I suppose that's life. I thought Isabella was great. She did an amazing performance because it's such a difficult skill to have kids in a film like that and they'd be liked. She did amazing. The best part of the film by far was the river raft scene. Even though it was spoilt in the trailers, I absolutely loved it. It was just like it was in the book, apart from it should have had more of the Dilophosaurus. It could have been like the novel where they just went past them on the side, but it is what it is. I'm a bit annoyed that we didn't get more of the Dilophosaurus in general. One thing that I didn't like overall was the Mutadons. I mean, I liked them in the sense that they were scary and they were something new, but I felt they could have just been raptors, or they could have been the Carnotaurus, again from the Lost World, and there's a reason why we don't see the dinosaurs in the gas station at the end. But yeah, it was a bit of a crime not to have raptors there and just to have them for the 10 seconds they were in. That was a real shame. I felt that the lab scene at the beginning, even I liked the Snickers thing. I know some people don't, but I liked it. But the one thing it was missing was a little bit of a callback to the past, and the easiest way to do that would have been to have Henry Wu in there. Whether or not you'd actually have a cameo or just do similar to what Loomis said about Grant, just have his name mentioned, that would have been a nice little callback for the fans. So I felt that was missing. But the one thing that I don't buy in the whole film is that humans are no longer interested in dinosaurs. That just doesn't work for me. I think regardless of what's happened with dinosaurs on the mainland, there would still be an interest in them. I mean, let's face it, we've got zoos here that have lions, tigers, and it's amazing to see them, even though they're quote-unquote regular animals. So this whole dinosaur no longer of interest doesn't quite fit, but I suppose it works for the narrative of the story. I'll wrap it up there. I like this film. More than liked it. I loved it. Thought it was great. I'm going to go see it again this week with my daughter. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Life will not be contained. Life breaks free, it expands to new territories, and crashes through barriers painfully, maybe even dangerously, but, well, there it is. There it is. I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
That'll do it for another episode of the Jurassic Park Podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you for listening and sharing in your entire love of Jurassic World Rebirth. Now, I say love, but whether you loved it or disliked it or somewhere in between, I appreciate the fact that you took time to write me an email, to send me a voice memo, to call the voicemail line. It really means so much that you took any moment out of your day to let us all know what you thought. And I made a point to sit down and listen to each and every one of these messages, these voicemails, and I appreciate you all so much. It's really cool, and I always love this time because, you know, for a while, people will put things like podcasts to the side while they're in preparation, you know, for a big movie like this, where, you know, on the podcast, we tend to talk about whatever we see, whether it's in the trailers or rumors or whatever the case is. So a lot of people dip out for a little while, right? But hearing everybody come back, seeing the numbers grow, it's so much fun. And I just love hearing from people I haven't heard from in a while or never heard from ever. There's some people here that I don't think I've ever heard from, and I appreciate that. That's mind-blowing to me. That 10 years on, I'm still hearing from new people. So I appreciate each and every one of you for the time you took today, or you know, not today, but in the past, or today to listen, but in the past few weeks to write in and call in. I appreciate each and every one of you for everything you do. It makes me happy. And remember, like I said, if you did not get a chance to participate here today, you still can. Just go ahead and call our voicemail line, 732-825-7763. Or you can go ahead, pick up your phone, hit the record button, and email us your voice memo to JurassicParkPod@gmail.com. Or go ahead and write your thoughts, and I will read them on the show. Maybe we'll get a mailbag going in the near future. I'd love to do that. Jen, what's up, Jen? Where you at? But as always, a huge thanks goes out to our podcast host, Podomatic, for giving us a place to upload the podcast each and every week. Everybody out there, please know that you matter. Stay safe. Be kind, fight for representation, change, and equality in the Jurassic franchise, but more importantly, outside of it, in the real world. It's especially needed these days. Let's be sure to make this world a better place. I'm going to go ahead and hand things off to myself for the outro. Take it away.
Saddle up, let's get this movable feast underway.
Continue the conversation with us on Threads and Instagram. Watch our content on TikTok and YouTube. Find us on the web at JurassicParkPodcast.com. You'll find today's episode show notes, articles, contributor bios, and so much more. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, our website, and wherever else podcasts are found. So please be sure to follow along and share with your friends, family, and fellow Jurassic fans. If you haven't already, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We will read your Apple reviews at the end of most episodes, so be sure to spare no expense. Don't miss our Wednesday night live streams, toy hunts, reviews, in-depth bonus content, gameplay, event and theme park coverage on our YouTube channel. If you want to get a hold of us or participate in the Jurassic Mailbag, you can fill out the contact form on our website or send emails and MP3s to JurassicParkPod@gmail.com. Feel free to call our voicemail line at any time to leave us a message or just to say hi. That number is 732-825-7763. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, enjoy.